Hey everyone, this is Javier. Welcome to the channel, and I'm here with Steve from BNF Asia. So we're excited to talk a little bit about Steve's story. A pretty amazing background and making a big move to Laos and to Southeast Asia. So let's get into it. So Steve, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. I'm British from the UK. I came over to Southeast Asia in 2004. I kind of exhausted myself with the UK. I had a relationship that had fallen by the wayside for quite some time. So I was single, if you like. I had worked in Thailand on a contract in Rayong with the company that I was working for in Liverpool. That began the Southeast Asian love story, if you like. Going from the terrace streets of Liverpool, Northern England, with the rain and the seasons, etc., the cold, to being on a contract in Thailand where you go out and do so much work and then you come back to the UK. It really opened my eyes. I travelled quite a bit before, even as a kid with the family. But Southeast Asia was just, people were just so friendly. It was like a different planet.
Wow, yeah, I can imagine.
And as I said, that was 2004.
So that was, more than 20 years ago.
Yep. October the 31st this year, Halloween night, was when I left the UK 21 years ago.
Can you talk a little bit about that, what that experience, what it was like when you set foot?
Yeah, I did have a small plan. Financially, I had 7,000 English pounds, which was quite a lot of money back then. I think it was 77 baht to the pound at the time. So things were cheap. It wasn't going to last me forever, but I wasn't sure whether I'd want to be here forever, So I came out, 2 duffel bags. They were my worldly possessions, £7,000 on the hip. I'd done a little bit of research where I needed to do visa runs. So one of the places that came up was Nong Khai. You can pop across the Laos, quite easily renew your 30-day visa. And what I found out about Nong Khai was they did something called Travel to Teach. Underprivileged kids, or not so much underprivileged, but local schools, which are not the same as high schools around the world, as you know. You can go in and you can help teach English, you can volunteer. They give you, the company or the institute would feed you, and you would have a bed in a dormitory with similar teachers. And I thought that wouldn't be a bad way to start. But when I turned up, I'd been in communication with them, and when I turned up on the front door in Nong Khai, they wanted money off me to stay. And I thought, this wasn't the plan, This isn't volunteering when you've got to pay.
Yeah.
So I never bothered. And after that, I was in Nong Khai for 4 years. In the second year, I went back to the UK to work on an oil and gas pipeline. My background is engineering. Again, they paid good money, so the Asian dream was there then. So I just saved everything I could on this contract. And I came back. There was a bar I used to drink in Nong Khai, a little tiny bar, and the lady wanted to sell it, and I thought, why not? So I bought it. Then I was back in the UK, still working, and when I finally finished the contract and come over, I gutted it out, renovated it a little bit, made it a bit nicer, and I sat on that for about 18 months. And I sold it for the same amount that I bought it for. It looked after me in food. I did a bit of food in there so I could eat there. I could definitely drink there.
Yeah.
And somewhere to live above it. So I sold that then in 2008.
A lot of people have this idea about, the dream to retire from the West and move to Southeast Asia. A lot of people have, just that thought in mind. I want to open up a bar or restaurants. I mean, what was that experience like?
I wouldn't recommend it. It's not good for your health, number one. Number two, there is a saying in Southeast Asia, if you want to make 1 million out of a bar in Southeast Asia, you need to start at 2 million. Because you're going to lose the first 1 million, and then you got to sell up and go.
Yeah. Okay,
So it's not employment, as you say. It's what a lot of expats do. They come over with a pocket full of money and buy a bar for $1,800 or $2,000. You're still paying rent, but the bar's yours, or you put it in someone's name. And slowly it will kill you, either by anxiety or depression or just being broke, or your health. So I sold it. Unless you were employed by a company in Thailand from outside an external contract, you can't go knocking on doors and looking for jobs. However, you could in Laos. And the more visa runs I did to the NTN, and you stay over a night or two, you bump into people in the Kok Chai there, and you get talking to the expats living in Laos, and you're thinking, what are all these orange shirts with the high vis and stuff like that? There's expats working here. And I got to know a few of those, and they asked me what I was doing, and I came over on the chance that there might be some work in the mines at the time. And a guy at the bar, when I came in, he goes, I've had this in my wallet for you since my last visa run, and it was the maintenance manager for a Lao company. So I applied for it. My interview was in the Red Mekong bar. Don't know whether you remember that. That was down where the Amari is now, more or less.
Sure.
There was a bar there called the Red Mekong. That's where I had my interview. The guy who interviewed me had a rugby shirt on. I also had a rugby shirt on. That's another bit of my background. And I basically got the job. We talked about rugby for 20 minutes, and then he said, turn up on Monday. So
that's great.
I worked with that company, Wang Vang Development Company, MVDC, until 2011, 2012. So 2008, 4 years in the mines.
If people want to make the move here and look for work, there tends to be a few kind of specific industries that are available for opportunities. Can you talk a little bit about them?
I think one of the biggest ones would be NGO work. There's a lot of opportunity there, and from the people, if I wasn't an engineer and I hadn't gone into engineering work, that was where I'd be looking to help, volunteer, because it looks so interesting, whether it's bomb disposal or whether it's Oxfam and things like that. There's a lot of good companies who are invested in that kind of aid and assistance. So aid work would be a good one to get into. You do need a job. As I said, the dream with the £7,000, it was never, it was always going to turn into a nightmare. It started as a dream. So you've got to have income. It could be through a pension, if you're old enough to take on a pension, it's cheap enough to live here. My monthly spend for a family of three, and that's when we go out for meals, we go and eat nice meals, we travel, that's what I put on YouTube, our travel and food. I pay for all that myself. But on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, $2,000 will get changed out of that. We live well, and that's not bragging. We can live well on that money. It's not expensive. $2,000, that's not really expensive. We've also been through times where we've lived on $1,200, or I've earned $1,200. I did a little bit of teaching a while back. When that man was born, I wanted to kind of see it grow up, so I came back into town. There was redundancies through the contractors. Took the redundancy, came into town, watched my daughter grow up a bit. Didn't want to sit in the house, so took on some teaching, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Really did. That's something that if you have got some form of equal qualifications. I mean, teaching is perfect, but if you've got some qualifications, I had IT qualifications, so I taught a little bit of IT, I taught business, thoroughly enjoyed it. But the money, if you're a single person, I think it's fine. But a family, a little bit more difficult. But we survived, you know, and we were paying rent then. We were paying $500 a month out of that 1,200 as rent. So we lived on 700.
Yeah.
A life hack for that is to let your wife control the finances. Never do it yourself. Lao women are great with the finances, so that everything gets left to Ken. So
That's great.
I'm lucky that way.
That's great. So, we've talked a little bit about what brought you to Southeast Asia, to Laos. Can you talk a little bit about what keeps you here? Now, you've built a life here over the past
Sure.
20 years.
Yeah, I don't see myself moving away from Lao. Definitely not. I've got a family here now. Lao wife, daughter, who's obviously half English, half Lao. She's schooled here. Her roots are here. Her friends are here. My friends are here. I go back to the UK generally for funerals, not so much weddings. And I go back and I see less and less of the people that I grew up in, because they've gone their own way. They've got family. They've got. So I go back there. It's quite lonely. We spend a few days there and then back out here. This is where my friends are. This is where my life is. As I say, I don't see myself going anywhere. I built the house. That was 4 years ago. A wonderful experience. People might say, "You're crazy." Clark works as Keck. I was working away. I was in Zaire. She'd send me photographs of WhatsApp, this colour tile or this colour tile. And she basically ran the job, ran the builders. And this is what we ended up with. It's a nice place to live. Next step after that, when you get some funds, we bought land. We bought land in the north. Watch the videos on that.
Yeah, you got some great videos of your land in the north.
Well, we've got it. We've kind of turned the corner now. We're going to sell that land because of the weather up there, if you like, and the access during the wet season. And we've just bought land here in Vientiane. The plan is to develop that slowly with a small bungalow. Eventually, this place will get sold and become a pension, because that's another thing. If you're living abroad, and I had a little bit of a works pension many years ago. I'm going to try and get in touch and find out what return I could get on that at the time. But British pension, because I've been out of the country so long, it's not possible to get anything like that. So I need to be planning now, whether it's the sale of this place and the interest of it, or little side hustles like YouTube and like buy me a coffee and digital products that you can sell and things like that. And I've always been interested in that. My dad used to say, "You're a ducker and diver," and that's what side hustling is now. It's a profession.
Yeah.
A side hustle. It's a profession, and I was perfecting it at the age of 12.
Wow. Amazing. So we touched on this a little bit, but you have your own YouTube channel.
Yes.
Can you talk a little about your channel?
Again, I mentioned family back in the UK. I've still got some family. I've got a brother also in the States. So we're very spread apart. And to try and keep people up to date with what you're doing on a daily basis, weekly basis, year to year, it's difficult. My father at the time, he was alive, and the phone call or the messenger, the video messenger and things like that, you're trying to explain what's going on and what you're doing. My folks have been out here every 2 years, many months back when they could travel. But then when it comes to we're buying land and it's right up in the north, something that Dad's never seen and Mum's never seen, I thought, I'll video it. Maybe I can put it up on YouTube and then I can just give them the address and they can understand it.
Yeah.
And I went up to the Langham Time with my phone and a gimbal I'd bought off Lazada, the ancient Amazon. So the little gimbal and the Samsung phone, off I went up the hills and we looked at land and we bought land. And I found some video software online. I love playing about, downloading things and learning, self-learning how to use the software. Enjoyed it. The next time we went up, I videoed it again. And then I started to learn tricks on YouTube of how to put a video together and make it look better. I obviously, when it came to put it on YouTube, they wanted a channel name, so everything kind of fell in place, and I thought, should I make it a channel rather than just a photo album, a video album for family? I bought a camera, And we made some more videos, and then I bought another camera, and then I bought microphones. And as you know, it's a bug. It's like golf.
It just keeps
You got to buy the equipment to play.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's non-stop. It's a strange thing to be into, to get excited about, because as you know, there are times when you might work really hard and putting a video out, or you're on that holiday taking the content. You think this is going to be great. Can't wait to edit this, and it looks good. We put the music on it. You get like 12 views over 3 minutes. And it's just flopped, and you don't know why. But in the same situation, I took a low light camera out to the goat shop up the road because I didn't plan anything that weekend to film. And as you know, you want to be putting up regularly. We took it to the goat shop, the loud music's blaring, we're sitting on the pavement, there's cars going past. I made 25 minutes of content. I pulled off 12 minutes after editing, and it went crazy. It's one of the most popular videos on the channel, and I don't know why.
Yeah, we've seen the video. It's a great video, and it's funny. To your point, you never really know what people are going to be interested in or what's going to drive the algorithm. But there were some videos that really take off because of that.
And we all worry about the algorithm, don't we?
Yeah,
He rules us.
But I've spent a lot of time watching your videos, and so we've really enjoyed watching the various adventures that you guys have been on throughout the country. And to your point, you do a lot of traveling within the region, so it's a lot of fun to see what you guys are doing.
It's also changed our lives in a way that maybe before we started to look at where and how we can create content. Like we go on holidays, and we've obviously been trying to do a long series of content if we go away on a holiday. But also we're looking to do things within the NTN of the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm working all week. I used to come home and sit on the sofa, put the TV on. That was me. Glass of wine, bit of cooking, couple of beers, early night, early morning, same again. And now I'm looking to, where can we go this weekend? Let's go to the melon farm. Even Kat will suggest places. She'll send me a message on Facebook through the week. What about this?
That's great.
We're both involved in it. Now Ran gets involved in it. We're active at the weekends all together. There's no more snoozing in life. Life's not slow anymore. It's still, it's fast paced and interesting, and we all enjoy it. If we didn't, I wouldn't do it. If Kat didn't like it or no one didn't like it, I wouldn't do it, because we do everything together. And I think making content is perfect for that.
That's great. And I think you can tell by watching your videos that you guys are really enjoying what you're doing. And so it's fun to watch. So we'll make sure and put a link to your channel in the videos.
Please pay us a visit.
Yeah,
Give us a like. Give us a subscribe.
Let's do that. So let's make that a goal to get some subscribers up to BNF Asia.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, you guys have a great channel. So maybe let's talk a little bit about some advice you would give to people that are thinking about making a big move to Southeast Asia. Are there some things that people should be aware of? Some cautions.
Visas, obviously. Make sure you've done your research on visas to stay. Things are changing day by day, country by country. Digitalization. It used to be all paperwork and dollars. Now it's done on the internet, etc. It's making it easier. It's making it faster. But be aware that the things change quite quickly. They'll implement things in different countries. Laos recently done it, which is a good thing. But you're going to come here and you're going to fall in love with the country. You may fall in love with a new partner. I did. But you'll certainly fall in love with the country. And if you want to stay here financially, you need to be sound. Whether it's a job, as I mentioned before, whether it's a pension, whether you've inherited a lot of money, lucky you. But you do need finances everywhere you live. It's not that expensive here, but if you don't have any financial backup coming in, you'll find it difficult, and you'll find you've got to go home, and you'll find yourself very sad looking at the grey sky in the UK or wherever you have to go home to. I learned that early on in my stint, just standing in my mother and father's back kitchen, looking out the window at the grey skies, thinking, I want to go back. Almost saying I want to go home. And I learned my lesson from that day, and I never had to go back because I've always made sure I've got a job, I've got some income. So that's very important.
It's a great point.
Introduce yourself to the local food, the local culture. The people out here are incredibly friendly, incredibly helpful, incredibly poor in some cases, and they will give you their last grain of rice. That's how welcoming they are, the Lao folk. As I say, culture, food, get into the food. It's going to be spicy, but you will enjoy it. And there are some really strange things that the Laotians eat. We've tried quite a few of them. And it makes good content.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you can be very adventurous.
Yeah, whether it's duck blood or goat's penis.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff. Go for it medium to well. Never go rare. Yeah, but get involved in the culture, get involved in the food. The weather, it's hot. You do get used to it.
You know, I lived in temps that were probably in the 40 degrees C, so over 100 degrees.
Yeah. So you've moved into something similar.
Yeah.
For me, it was a big step up. And you're hot, you're sweating, stay hydrated, that's an important one. You shower a lot more often, you'll stay a lot more hygienic. There are seasons here. We don't have spring, summer, autumn, winter. We have hot season and wet season. The hot season's hot, the wet season's hot, and it's also wet. So we might get a week over Christmas when it's 15 degrees and we're all freezing here. And in the UK, they'll be opening the doors and putting the deck chairs out at 15 degrees. And I'm freezing when it gets that.
Here, we're just putting the jackets on.
Yeah. So you still do see people here who are hanging on by the seat of their pants because they've got that love affair with the country.
Yeah.
And it's hard to leave. There's an expat community, and we're all trying to help each other, you know. We're all trying to help each other get into employment or go and give this guy a ring or, you know, networking, things like that. It's also very sad when you've been here this long and you lose people out here, you lose friends. You know, there's been several that I would call very good friends and we've lost them. And you think, I didn't know that guy in the UK. He's died of natural causes. I wouldn't have been going to his funeral. I only know him because of Laos. And you go to a burn and it's a ceremony in a temple and it hits home a lot more, you know, that he's not getting buried. He's actually on a funeral pyre, he or she, or, you know. And those kind of things, they knock you about a bit. Because it also shines a light on the fact that the older you get here, the closer you get to your maker, the less chance of meeting old friends, you know. And you, as I say, a couple of funerals, you don't really see people come over from the UK, from the past, or come over from the States or Australia. The friends are here. And I think it's important, the expat community, touching on that, is that we do say hello to each other, get to know each other. We're all out here on very similar missions to find something different, to enjoy life. And if I can help anybody out, I will. I always will. And I didn't have that state of mind in the UK.
Yeah, isn't that interesting how your kind of the way you see things is different when you live out here?
For sure. I think it's a lot about the culture of the Laotians. They calm you down a lot, the way they go about life. The first couple of years, you'll be frustrated as hell because you will not rush them. You will not make them do anything quickly, whether it's driving or working or drinking. They can drink quickly. They're quite good at drinking, but it's a slow pace of life. And once you get into that pattern with them, you integrate into the Lao PDR, which we say, please don't rush, PDR. Integrate into that and you won't go far wrong. You will live longer and you'll be pretty much stress-free.
That's right. Yeah, that's a great point. We spent the weekend in Thailand. So on the way back, we were in line. It was a very long line and there were a couple of Western tourists that were getting frustrated. And I could just see, myself maybe 15 years ago having that same frustration. But now I was like, oh, when it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
We'll get through the line.
Yeah.
You just get that sort of.
I mean, I'm naturally fiery, and I can, why is he doing that? But then I've got the angel on the shoulder that's the wife, and she goes, Javier, keep a cool heart. It's not going to get you through any quicker. And you think, yeah, you're absolutely right, as usual.
Yeah, that's a great point. So that's another maybe good piece of advice. When you encounter, just know that the pace is very different.
We prefer to slow down.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better in life than slowing down.
That's right. Yeah, it really makes you pay attention to what's going on. As an expat or as a Westerner, when you get older, things like maybe healthcare might be a concern. So what are your thoughts on that?
Thankfully, I'm covered with company insurance for health insurance. There are two sides. It's a double-edged sword for health insurance or the healthcare. Recently, we've got an international hospital. Marhasot has been upgraded with Chinese aid, which looks like a good hospital now. I've been out to the 150, which is pretty new. How advanced the medical care is in those Laos hospitals, even though they've been renovated and upgraded, I'm unsure. I have been to the Thai international one. But I did have some health issues 4 years ago. The doctor thankfully he asked me, when did you have your first heart attack? I said, I've never had one. He said, oh, yes, you have. And I was in hospital with chest pains that day, and that was the second heart attack. And I ended up getting a stent fitted over in Khon Kaen, which is in Thailand. And I think a lot of the expats will put their trust in Thai hospitals and medical facilities because they're a lot more advanced. And you can go from the likes of Udon Thani, they are private hospitals, you pay as you go, all the way through to Bumrungrad in Bangkok, where you've got people coming in from Saudi Arabia to be treated because it's the grade of hospital that's making people come visit. That and the plastic surgery also.
Sure.
But if you can afford to insure yourself, it's well worth getting insured because you may find yourself in serious situations choosing Thailand. Day-to-day stuff, I go get my ears cleaned now and again and things like that. Dentistry, I've had dentistry done here. Quite happy with the facilities in Laos, the local facilities. But for more major things, make a plan. Either have insurance or have cash, pay as you go. I know my father came out and he was worried about how much his medical insurance will cost him. And he quoted something like £3,000 for a 2-week cover to come to Laos. And I said, if you stay in hospital for all of those 2 weeks in Laos, it's not going to cost you £3,000. You could walk out with a new heart, 2 new hips, and it still wouldn't cost you £3,000. So just bring cash. Then if you need to go in, we pay on the door.
That's good advice. Yeah.
Just be aware that, that some of the facilities are less advanced than others. But if you need advanced facilities, cross the bridge to Thailand. Another reason why VNTN is quite popular as an expat hangout that's not Thailand. Some people don't like Thailand. They like the Southeast Asia. They like the slow buzz allowed. And you can always go and get medical facilities across the river. And even the medical facilities inland, if you find yourself in an emergency, whether it's a works injury or a car accident, but a whiplash or a heart attack, something like that, you can go to one of the hospitals here or one of the clinics here, international clinics, and say, I want to go to Thailand. And they will put you in an ambulance, clear you through the border on a medical visa, if you like, and get you to a hospital quickly. You've got to pay for it, but it's a medical taxi, if you like. And people need to know that also. You're saying, wow, as if...
I did not know that.
It's a first, yeah.
Interesting.
And I found that out through somebody who's having a baby. They wanted to go into Thailand, but the baby came early. Where they've been getting the checkups here, Alliance, I think it was. They came in an ambulance, took them over to Thailand, dropped them at 8K Udon. and there's a charge for it, but it's peace of mind.
So that seems to be a question a lot of expats have, is just what kind of healthcare can you get? And let's say if I'm approaching retirement age, do I need to be worried about, emergency healthcare, those sorts of things? So it helps fill
It's there, it's available. You need to be aware of it and how to get to it, basically. As I say, it's in another country. Sounds crazy, but it's pretty straightforward.
What are your thoughts around safety within this country and how?
Nowadays, at the age of 56, you don't really see me out of the house after 9 o'clock. I'm normally in bed. But when I was, dancing in the discos and going to a few bars in my younger years, never ever felt threatened. Always felt safe. The emergency light might click on if you're walking down the street on the way home or wandering down the street a little bit drunk, and you see a gang of guys on the corner, and you go into fight or flight mode, if you like, and the next thing they're going, oh, hello, for that. Yeah. Even at that time of night, they're just so friendly. It's a safe country, not just a city. I've never been anywhere in Laos that I've ever felt threatened or never. Very safe.
I think that's the one thing that you see here to a point. Everyone's very friendly, and actually, if they see that you're not from here, then they actually will take
Even
next trip here.
Even more so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing.
They treat foreigners very well. On the odd occasion, the foreigners don't return that, which is sad. It's not just British or Americans, it can be any Europeans. And again, like you said, you can imagine it being them in the early stages of a visit or a holiday where they don't understand how long it takes to get things done, the pace of things. If you're bringing a Western ideal on a holiday in Laos, it won't work. Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow.
It's the one thing that you learn here. Go with the flow.
That's why the Mekong goes to the city centre, to remind them to go with the flow.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, it's a great statement. So, watching your channel, the last video that we saw was your trip to Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. It was our 13th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
I always like to take my dear wife somewhere, as well as every other weekend, but somewhere to celebrate. And there were flights for $104 or $6 return.
Wow.
Vientiane. Because sometimes, if we can just explain that, we dart across to Udon Thani, to Thailand, because it's a cheaper flight onwards then.
It's a good trip.
But on this occasion, straight from Vientiane to Ho Chi Minh City, $104 or $6 return. And we had 2 wonderful nights in Ho Chi Minh, in District 1, which part of it is a very much Japanese / Korean town. It's called Tokyo Town. We fell in love with Japan when we made an earlier trip to Japan. So we've got the Vietnamese pho, which we love. If you see that video, you will see that my wife loves pho. And we've got the bun cha, the Vietnamese food we love. And then we can pop into an izakaya and have an asahi or a sapporo and some wonderful food. Asian food, you can't beat it. And if you can go on holiday away from one Asian country to another and eat several Asian countries' food, it's much better. But Ho Chi Minh, I would very much recommend it. It's a marvelous. You said cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
It is. It's very
from the video.
Yeah.
We've not made the trip, so that's a good tip for us. After watching your video, now we've got some thoughts about.
And there is a lot of historic places there. The cathedrals, the post office. I went in the post office 2024 when we did the Dragon Tour, and it is just a beautiful building, and you can feel the age in it, and it's wonderful to wander around, things like that. You think, oh, the UK, they've got Buckingham Palace and places. No other place in the world does. They do, We were going to go for a brunch at the Caravel Hotel. Well, that was one of the options we looked at. What drew me to the Caravel Hotel was that was where all the news operators during the Vietnam War for ABC for CNN, etc., and the BBC. They all stayed in that hotel. And it reeks of history, you know, and all of that still similar to Myanmar. There's things like that in Myanmar as far as the British connections. There's a lot of wonderful history in Southeast Asia.
That's great. Wow. And as from what I saw in the video, you're not done with the series, so you got another video coming up.
Yeah, that will include a wonderful meal we had on the Saigon River, which, again, something I would have not known if it wasn't for YouTube. And YouTube's a visual Google. You can go on there and type in it, the same as Google, and it will give you people's videos of the place that you want to see. And then you can learn so much. I mean, engineering background, planning, it's in my blood. So when we go on a trip, I might spend 4 months perfecting it. I know a street, when I'm walking down the street, whether it's in Macau, whether it's in, I know that the shop that I'm looking for is going to be there. It might be a bar, not a shop. Or certainly a restaurant. And I love to plan things like that. And, you know, it's, yeah, the support you get from YouTube to be able to develop your travel, if you like.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I think to your point, it is like the search engine of today. You know, everybody uses YouTube to do their research, and also you get kind of visual cues, and you can plan around that. So yeah, it's a great thing.
I've stayed in hotels that some of the channels I subscribe to, they've given me the room review.
Isn't that great?
Already, and I don't need to worry. I'm staying there.
Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah, it's such a great thing. And then to think about now your channel that you can do the same thing for other people.
It would be nice if somebody dropped a comment and said, "Hey, I went to that same hotel in Macau, took your advice, it was fantastic." That'd make my day.
Wouldn't that? Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. Good to know. Well, anything else you want to share with the viewers?
I don't think so. Other than I hope if you're subscribing that you're enjoying it. If you're not, tell me. Comments, likes, and dislikes are all input for the algorithm. I don't care.
There you go.
No, but it'd be nice if you like it, get in touch, and even let me know, why don't you go here? We'll give it a shot. If we can afford it, we'll give it a shot.
Well, Stephen, it's been great.
Thank you, Javier. It's been wonderful, and I really enjoyed your channel, and to be on it, to be part of it, involved today, it's been fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, and we look forward to seeing more of your videos and having you share some of your experiences.
Long may we both continue.
There you go. All right.
Thanks very much, man.
All right, thank you.
Enjoyed it.
This one is the orange button, or no?
Yeah, just a straight click on the orange button. It should be. I can't see that but
Yeah.
This one I don't see anything.
Yeah.
What am I looking for? I don't see anything.